What are some of the challenges you face as a creator?
Probably what I just said is that it kind of has to be idealistic. And so I struggle a lot here in London specifically because I need the blue skies and the green grass, and sometimes that just isn't going to happen, and you can go weeks without it. And for me, since my content is so specific to kind of specific niches, I have to kind of navigate that because there's not going to be as many jobs for me, because that's okay. I don't wear neutrals very often. I am not casual at all. And so that kind of cuts out so many brands in all niches, lifestyle, beauty, like fashion. It cuts out so many companies and opportunities. And I've had to use this time, like over the last couple of years, to really be okay and confident in that, and then making sure that I am doing so much while it's spring and summer, and I can really benefit off of that, because my timeline for content is a bit shorter than a lot of other creators. And so I think that's kind of my main struggle, is knowing that I'm so happy that my niche is so specific, but at the same time, it's hard to branch out after you get to a certain point. So yeah.
That's fair.
What would you say?
I would say, and it's not that big, it hasn't been that big of a problem, but sometimes when I want to film a video or a new series or take some photos, not having someone to do that with, especially being in a new city and not knowing that many people, especially people that are also doing content. I could be like, hey, like, what are you doing today? Can we go shoot? I've gotten really lucky, honestly, but I'd say that's one of the big ones. And then I think just the challenges you face because you're a Black woman in the creative space. You know, like, we all know them, we've all been through them, but it hasn't felt like horrible, you know? It hasn't felt like massive obstacles. But like, I just know they're there. Like, I know that, first of all, I have to advocate for myself a lot harder. So does my manager. I have to make sure my managers are advocating for me a lot more, like, to the brands and all of that. And then I think also just knowing your content is probably not going to do as well as your counterparts, and continuing to post despite like any of that, and showing up into these spaces. Also, I do feel like you kind of have to show up put together, and like everything needs to be like high quality and stuff just to get traction and everything. Now, I'm not saying people should do that. I just think that's like what works. Yeah, you feel like you have to, because you're like, I can't show up a mess or else like we're not going anywhere.
I agree with literally everything that you just said, because that is something I had to learn last year, because I got management for the first time. And so there were different collabs. Like, there was a hair care one where it wasn't their fault at all. It was the brand's fault, because they should have done their research. It wasn't my agency or me, but they were expecting, they sent over hair tools. And I have extensions, and they wanted me to do like a shampoo and thing, like shampoo and conditioner kind of thing. And I had clip-ins at the time, so obviously I'm gonna take the clip-ins out to wash my hair with the products, and then when I blow dry it, it's gonna be to my chin. It's not like these long curls that come down my back. And so when they got the content back, they were like, well, we expected Nikki to use the tools in this way and to do this and do this and do this. And my agency was like, well, to be completely honest, like, you reached out to Nikki and she has Get Ready With Me's, where you can see that she obviously has this hairstyle and this hair type. And so the fact that you're a bit upset, I'm sorry that it's not what you wanted, but also you could have just scrolled a few videos down and saw this.
That's not gonna be what you want.
And so I've had that, obviously, and I'm happy they organize that, because when it's things like that, it's nice that I don't have to be the person to be like, so will my hair, and then, because I feel like we shouldn't have to explain why things don't work for us. And it's kind of a cycle, and I find, like, in my space a lot, it's getting better now, but there's not that many like Black or brown women that do it, and then a lot of brands like whitewash the people that send the content in. I've had friends that have like had like rings and jewelry collabs, and then the brands like whitened their hand, because their face is in it, it's just their hands.
That's crazy.
And brands like that are in this like girly niche have like whitened their hands and things like that, and I'm like, I can't believe that. Like, I couldn't imagine it happening in like more neutral and more casual style for fashion and everything, but in the girly, like, I don't know. I don't like aesthetics that much anymore, but the girly, like coquette, like cottagecore, like all of that stuff. A lot of times, like a lot of the brands don't have any diversity on their team. Not the bigger ones and more like mainstream ones, of course, but the smaller companies that we end up working with usually because of our style, they tend to like just not have any awareness or care really, and then are like kind of offended when you're like, well, I think you edited this. And they're like, well, it's just the filter that I use. And it's like, well, maybe don't use it.
Right, like, don't wash me out. Yeah.
Yes, it's not that hard. So that is something, for sure.
Huge on the hair one. I just had a brand ask to come in for like, I think it was a wash and blow dry or something. And I'm like going through their Instagram. I'm like, anybody here have like 4C, 4B even hair? And like, there's no one on their Instagram, even going through their stylist. And here's the thing, their stylists that are white or whatever could probably do my hair. Maybe, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I also don't see the representation on your page already. So like, how am I supposed to know and how am I going to trust you to do my hair? Like, that's just not.
Exactly.
It's not worth it.
I've been so scared of hair.
I'm always turning down hair.
I'm so scared of hair things because you never know what's going to happen.
And people are like, oh my God, you should work with more hair brands. And I'm like.
You're like, why, what?
Right, it depends.
But do they even know what it looks like?
Exactly.
A lot of times it's not, because the stress that you have to redo something because they were not happy with the result, it's not worth it.
Right, and I also hate doing my own hair, so What are some of your techniques for growing and engaging with your audience?
Yeah, so for me, I find that I grew a lot in 2022 on TikTok and 2021 with doing things that were like pretty much pop culture stuff. So I would do outfits inspired by specific things.
Okay.
So for me, like it was huge when Taylor Swift was, I mean, she's huge now obviously, but I would do like outfits inspired by Taylor Swift albums, outfits inspired by Ariana Grande albums, outfits inspired by this movie, this show, whatever. And then that way people are like, oh my gosh, look at her style. And so they can see all my clothes that align in this way without me having to do that much, because it's stuff I already have and I can align with like different groups, like what I'm wearing to Beyonce's concert, like things like that.
Okay.
And it brought in what was trending on TikTok and what everyone's talking about. And so I did it for whenever albums dropped or anything like that.
But that's really smart.
And I mean, they take a long time.
I'm sure. Worth it.
They take so long, but my best video on TikTok is like still pinned. My best ones are those kinds of videos. And so that's kind of what I do, is I use my style to fit into different ways of like pop culture now. Because again, like I said, like my style is so specific that it's kind of hard to follow trends, but if I can make it just work for me, to even if it's just small, it's enough to connect with an audience.
That's
so
yeah,
that's my thing. What's yours?
I don't know if I have any specific techniques. I think it's just, of course, like everyone's like, just be consistent. Listen, I say it too, I'll beat it till it's dead. But I think just consistency and then creating series that are specific to me. Like I have a series called Sweets and Sneaks, because like I love sneakers and I love sweets so much. And my audience knows that already. So they're like so tuned in to like these series, or Trying in Your 20s is another series, and everyone is just interested to see like what I'm doing next, or like what should I try next, like I as in them. So I'd say that honestly, it creates new engagement, but also keeps my current followers like engaged and everything. And then sometimes just reels going viral or like doing well, like random things like that. But that's really it. Just like sticking to what I know best.
I do that with my dresses. Like if I have a new dress, because they're kind of like gowns, a lot of times like big ball gowns, which again, not practical. But it'll be like, look at this new dress, and you know, that kind of thing. And so people that are finding me are like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty, it's so cool. And then the people that already follow me are like, oh my gosh, so excited for this next one. And so I've kind of meshed those together.
That's fair.
The same way. What is your creative process when receiving a brief and working with a brand?
It depends, honestly, on the brief, I would say. Again, like going back to what we were saying about creative freedom and big budget, if I have the creative freedom and it is already aligning with my content already, I'll just see what it aligns with best. What's in my cart, a haul, a try on, like whatever it is, a vlog, and then just integrate that. So I think I'll just find the piece of content that makes the most sense because I don't want it to feel too out of place, and then go back to the brand with that and see what they say.
Yeah. I do the same thing. And I also have been kind of planning out content, not just paid, but also organic in this way this year specifically. It's my goal is to do more trips for content instead of settling for locations that just don't make sense, or I can tell that I'm not happily doing it in that space. So when I'm getting briefs now, I'm also sending out where I'm going, what's happening, like, and this is how my agency is pitching me too, is like, Nikki's going to, I just went to the Cotswolds for Valentine's Day content. So Nikki's going to the Cotswolds, here's what the Airbnb looks like. Here you go. Like, if you like this and you think it aligns with what you have for Valentine's Day, here's what she has. And so this year, that is my goal, is to do that, if not monthly, every other month, so that it just kind of flows cohesively, and I'm in a new space, so I'm more inspired than just like going to Kensington and shooting in front of White Houses, because it's nice, but it gets old. And so, that's my process this year, is doing bigger, not production, because it's just me, but bigger planning and more cohesiveness on my feed and the content that I'm putting out. So
yeah, that's really smart. Game. Okay, using what you've just said, talk us through how you'd work on this brief in 60 seconds. Your aim is to encourage people to book a journey using our ride-sharing service through a 30-second to 1-minute video. Example, you're running late to an interview, you're going to a fancy event where you don't want to drive, or you're on the way to the airport. Your deliverables are 1 video, sharing both on TikTok and Instagram, 1 story set, 3 slides. And your bonus is, what would your rate be for this?
all right, so for me, I would do, like, I'm going to like a fancy dinner or like New York Fashion Week or something like that. And so I physically cannot wear these heels and then get on the tube and go. So I'm calling a rideshare service, and they're picking me up and taking me there. So with that, I'll obviously take imagery of getting into the car, the video of me like running out the house, putting my shoes on. And then in the car, I'm with a friend that's also going with me, or someone that I'm going to dinner with, and they're shooting like flash pics with a digi camera. And then all of those imagery I can like put together into a video for TikTok, but also Reels to be reposted. And then the still imagery can go on stories.
Nice.
And then I would charge, for the Reel and TikTok together, I do 2,500, and then with the story set, 800 together.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So you're gonna do the same thing that I just did. Talk us through your creative process for this brief in 60 seconds. It's for luxury skincare. So a vegan skincare brand is launching its luxury gifting natural gift sets and wants creators to share the message of sharing, being closer to their loved ones, themselves, or the spaces around them in a creative way. No longer than 30 seconds. Concept example, surprise gift for your favorite person, a self-care ritual with the bathroom? Yeah, a self-care ritual with the bathroom. Deliverables, 1 video with 60 days boosting on TikTok and Instagram. Your bonus is, what would you charge for this?
What are my deliverables? 1 30-second
One
video.
video. So you only have 30 seconds to put this together. Yeah.
Okay.
No, sorry, that's 60 seconds. The video is only 30 seconds.
Okay.
I misread it. The video is only 30 seconds. And it's a surprise gift for your favorite person, a self-care ritual within the bathroom. 1 video.
Okay.
60 days boosting on TikTok and Instagram. What's your rate?
Okay, so I would probably do it around the holiday season since everything's gifting season. And I would probably do it to something a little more unexpected, maybe like my favorite coworker, something like that. Like I know we've had a hard week in the office during the holidays, and I don't know how I'd present it to them. I don't know who else I would do, but I feel like it's very self-explanatory. Where I would just gift it to someone during the holiday season, or maybe someone random, like a random act of kindness.
That's
that
nice.
could be a
Like
fun one. Paying it forward during the holiday season. Here's some vegan skincare.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And how much do you charge?
Probably 3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Posting, yeah. With the ad usage as well.
Ooh, we're looking at 5 to 7.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, definitely. What has been your experience when it comes to collaborating with brands?
My experience collaborating with brands has been really positive, which I'm happy about. I haven't had to do any of the management, negotiating, advocating for myself in 2 years because my husband did all my admin for me in 2022. And then 2023, I signed with an agency, and it's been really great to have someone else doing all of the parts that you don't necessarily want to do. And you get to just do the creative part. And so when it comes to the brand collabs, I have been lucky enough with my agency that I just give them a bunch of things I think I might want to do, but they do so much outreach on my behalf without me having to even be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so I've gotten a lot of jobs that align with my style and my branding, and this year I'm working to even hone in on it even more. So yeah, and make everything more cohesive and make more sense. So yeah, how has it been for you with brands?
Really good, honestly. Again, having management. Oh my God, it's been so nice.
Yeah.
It is so nice. Like, people ask sometimes if they should get management, and I can only speak from my experience because I know people that have had managers and it went so poorly with them. I think I just got so lucky with my team. I love them. They're amazing. So working with brands has been really nice, again, because I'm not doing the negotiating. They are. It's incredible. Previously to that, it was still fine. I didn't really have any issues. It was more so just the lack of knowledge on my end. They're like, do you want a whitelist? I'm like, what's whitelisting?
Yep.
I have no idea how much I should be charging. I don't know what I'm saying. Like, you really are just making things up as you go. So it's really nice to have management know what they're talking about and to have a team of lawyers also behind them. So I'm not signing my life away, you know what I'm saying? So it's been really good.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm really happy for you for that because I have had so many friends have horror stories as well. Like, so many people that have terrible agencies
And brands drop them because of their management. And you're like,
and I don't know what I would do with that. I was so scared to get an agent for this reason. And when I ended up with mine, it just was perfect. Like, I talked to the owner of the company for an hour and a half on the phone from our first chat to see how the company would work with me. And yeah, we talked for an hour and a half. And I was like, this is great. Like, this is actually really nice. And it's just only gone up from there.
Totally.
So it feels really nice to feel like there's a group of people that are like helping you
Yes.
do what you need to do. So
it makes your job so much easier. Yeah.
it's been really nice.
Yeah. It kind of goes into our next question. If
Yeah.
you're with management, we both are.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. How do you work on building creator relationships? That's interesting.
Like with other content creators?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like I have like a 50-50 with this. So I obviously am not from the UK, obviously, and neither are you. And so a lot of my content friends are not in England. And so when it comes to having friends to do things with or go to events with or meet, I struggle a lot because I'm kind of always like, well, I miss my friends that are here or here or here. And so I find sometimes I spiral a little bit, which is not good or healthy. And sometimes I'm like, I have no friends and I have friends. I just am just in my head. Yeah. And I think too is I do have a lot of creator friends, but we don't do the same style. So when it comes to work, I can't just like go shoot with them because they're not going to want to do the same thing as me, which is fine and all well. It's just harder for work. So I go through phases where I try to reach out to people and like have lunch and like do that, and it's nice, and I go to events with people and I love that, but also sometimes I'm missing my friends.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Totally.
You, how has it been?
Similar, as in I don't have that many creator friends here, but the ones, of course, one of my good friends that I made here, she left, Aisha, for New York, and I'm so happy for her doing that. But again, most of my creator friends are back home, but I still feel like the people that I follow on social media, I feel like I'm friends with them, like we're all mutuals, and everyone that I've met through social media that I'm mutuals with, like we end up being good friends. I'm like, this makes sense. I loved your content, I love you. It always works out.
Exactly.
So I feel like just following people that I truly enjoy, that's how the relationships are made.
Yeah, it can be hard, especially because we don't have an office to go to.
Yeah.
And
Not
we're
being
like
in the same city.
we're not in school anymore, and so you know, we can't just like easily meet people. We have to
Right.
go out of our way to meet people,
Right.
which can be hard sometimes, especially if you're in a new city. So yeah, it's definitely a process.